All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome back to TCR action here tonight. We are back with Golden Class. This is the season finale here tonight with in the Mexican Grand Prix. We're starting the stream a little bit early so we can talk a little bit about the action going in. We've already heard from our champion, Failed UX, but he's with us here tonight again to go over how the season went for him. And we've also got one of the contenders for P3 in the championship, Flying Jippo. So hello to everybody. Oh, and Mr. Sensation. Oh my god, how could I forget Mr. Sensation? Geesh, welcome everybody.
Yes.
What's going on, guys?
Alright, so first of all, Failed UX, we've already talked about it, but you've got the championship all secured and already in the bag. Next season, what were your thoughts again? What are you doing for next season?
Gold.
Alright, so you're standing to defend your championship here?
Yes, sir, and that's the plan. Hopefully the constructors as well.
Alright, and any sort of changes to setup or your approach to racing, or do you think everything has been working for you pretty well so far?
So, since winning the championship, I kind of slowed down, and it does show in my results. I'm not really putting as much effort. I just don't feel the need to. But don't worry, when the season kicks up again, and for the next game, whatever it is, the 2020,
Right.
no worries. We're gonna be ready. Hopefully, we can defend the title successfully, because there's gonna be some fast guys for sure.
Okay, and let's also hear from Flying Jippo. How are you today? How are you coming into this race? Are you all ready for it?
Yeah, man, I'm really stoked for this race. I want to get this third place. I got third last year in silver, so I really want to get third in gold, and that'll be a great achievement for me. So yeah, I'm just hoping to get the best result I could possibly can get, and hoping to stay out of trouble.
All right, that sounds good. So, yeah, basically we've got a nice battle going on for third place at the moment in Golden Class heading into the season finale. There's quite a few people involved in that fight, starting with Latope, Flying Jibbo, who we just heard from, and then Zegrease is also tied on points with you. Is he going to be pretty much your target for today?
Oh, he's tied on points with me?
Yeah, Flying Jippo and Zegrease, you guys are tied on 96 points.
Really? Wow. Alright, well, guess I'm gonna have a run for my money then. Good luck, pal. I'll make sure not to leave you that much room, but just enough.
Sounds about right for how the rest of the season went so far. So we're gonna let you guys go quick because it looks like short qualifying session is starting right now. So go ahead and have fun and good luck.
Thanks, man.
Thank you, guys.
Have fun commentating.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's been very fun so far in this season commentating on this class of racing in TCR. This is round 16 now, as I mentioned, Mexico, the very last Grand Prix of this season 9. Mr. Sensation, what has been your favorite part or your favorite Grand Prix so far of this season?
Interesting. Let's see, the favorite part that I have, I would say about 2 races ago that we had. That would be, we just did US Canada, I believe that was the last second to last race.
So the one that we did last week was USA.
USA. The one before that
I think that was Canada, yeah.
was Canada. Okay, so I like Canada so far. Germany. And I got a funny feeling tonight might be a special one. It might top those 2 tonight.
All right, well, let's see how it turns out. I hear a couple of engines revving already, so that means we're gonna have some people coming out of their pits onto a outlap. It looks like an Alfa Romeo is first, and I think that might be
Yep.
M9H Racing.
Yep.
Let's see here. No, it's actually McChicken. He was very impressive last week in the USA. Do you think he might surprise us here today as well?
No, I don't think so. I usually don't say no on things like that, but no, I don't think McChicken will be out there. I think he might get plucked.
That was a very good pun there. In the meantime, looking at McChicken, he's the first one out on an out lap. It looks like there's also a Ferrari getting ready to come out of the pits. So far, McChicken has elected to go out on a medium tire. Now, I do have some intel from one of the drivers, and I'm getting some intel letting us know that it's a wet, soaking wet race.
All right. There we go.
I knew you would be excited.
There we go. Now we're going to see some skills. You ain't got to worry about no tire pressure. You just go for it.
All right, and if you remember last week, Flip Flop Fish decided to go for a last to first challenge, and he did that very successfully. It doesn't look like he's going to be doing the same thing here today, because he's already out there getting an out lap on a brand new set of soft tires. We're going to come back to his onboard as soon as he's getting ready to go for his quick lap. I do want to see how he's going to do here today. In the meantime, McChicken is on the start-finish straight. He is heading down into turn 1 and 2, which do come here in pretty quick succession, and then turn 3 as well. Oh, and he's got the whole back sliding out into turn 1. Did not get the braking sort of power that he wanted into that corner, unfortunately.
See, yeah, that's another thing. I've noticed even with last night's race with you guys, a lot of that back end was just snapping out, and a lot of people had to try to catch it, especially if they were trying to battle for a position, and you're trying not to ruin your competition's race, but it seems to be that you got to have some type of control with that rear, so that's going to play a factor, especially now that you said it's going to rain also.
Yeah, so good advice from Mrs. Sensation. Control your rear, guys. And we've got Flip Flop Fish in the meantime doing a great job of controlling his rear, coming out through the end of Sector 1 there. He did set the fastest Sector 1 so far, and now into the complicated S's of Mexico. I feel like we've got a lot of different tracks that have this sort of configuration of S's in very quick succession. It's definitely quite tricky to get around there, and I'm sure a lot of drivers are going to have trouble with that later on in the race. Now, though, in qualifying, Flip Flop Fish is coming through the last corner on the track right now. He's had a beautiful run so far, getting very good rotation and controlling the traction on the rear end, and he puts in a 1:15.8. And surprisingly, even though he wasn't the first one on track, he's the only person who's been able to put in a valid lap so far.
Yeah.
So
how
that probably
long is it gonna stand, though?
Yeah, well, that probably means that this track is turning out to be a little bit trickier on track limits already in qualifying than we expected, and then Failed UX just crossed the line with a 1:16.6, so he's currently 0.8 of a second behind Flip Flop Fish already, and now M9H Racing puts it on pole with a 1:15.738. Very, very impressive time from him, even beating the Flip Flop Fish himself.
Well, I mean, it's still early. Let's see some real skills when it's going to be a soaking wet race.
All right, let's go on board here with Flying Jippo, who we just spoke to a few minutes ago. He is out there on his first out lap, or his first hot lap in this qualifying session. He's currently has not put in a time, and he goes through turn 1, getting a pretty good rotation there, cutting turn 2 and 3 a little bit slow, but does get a pretty good exit, opening up the DRS now, and he's on the rundown into turn 4. Now this one is very, very heavy braking, and then you got to turn in really hard to your left, open up the line so you can get this right-hander right after it, and then the double right-hander, you got to slow the car down, turn it down into second gear. Flying Triple loses the back slightly there on the exit, but he manages to keep it together, and now again into the S's on this Mexican Grand Prix. Through the first one and second one does a pretty good job, and now through third and fourth pretty good overall. Let's see his time. He's got a purple second sector. Very impressive from Flying Jippo. I'm sure he's going to be putting in everything he can today as he's fighting for that P3 overall in this season between Latope himself, RC7, who's actually just put in a 115.4 and has put himself on pole, and now Flying Jippo puts himself on pole as well with a 115.295, beating the opposition by almost 0.3 of a second. Absolutely incredible stuff and very exciting already here in qualifying.
Yeah, isn't it in last night's race somebody pulled the 114? I think in qualifying with you guys last night, I think somebody pulled a 114.
If they did, then they should definitely be advancing into at least Golden Class for next season.
I just don't know who it was.
I actually can't remember who was on pole, but honestly, I was so distracted by my own troubles in last night's race that I wasn't really paying attention to anything else. But yeah, coming back to Golden Class here tonight, we're now on board with Bam Bam, who is on a hot lap on a soft tire as well. So it looks like everybody, literally everybody down the field is on the soft tire, and they're thinking that that's going to be the best strategy to go into on this race. So far, Bam Bam doing a pretty good job. He's had some traffic, but they got out of the way. Now running a little bit wide on the exit of turn 11. And that's going to probably lose him a bit of time now into turn 12, running wide again. Now this one is hairpin, and then you got to open up the line again into the last couple of corners and slow down the car, but get a good exit on the last. And then all you got until the line here. And Bam Bam is currently 7th with a 116.180. So other than what we're usually used to here tonight, Mrs. Sensation, are you expecting for anybody like last week that could put in a very surprising performance?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Actually, I think W again, Latope, and if he can stay out of trouble, I was thinking of what's that? Is that you pronounce his name? FICA 85?
FYKV?
Yeah, FYKV.
Yes, that guy can definitely turn things around in the race, so we'll have to wait and see if he's going to be able to do that thing again and if he's going to surprise us. But yeah, I was really impressed by your predictions last week, saying that, oh, you know, only a couple of races left in the season, so expect for people to surprise you, and that's exactly what happened.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. I mean, especially if it's to stop somebody from getting a championship. You never know, man. You know, you got to think about in the beginning of the season, you know, when somebody might be up there and then they kind of fall, you know, by the wayside as the season winds down. They might try to stop somebody from getting a championship. So maybe that one race might be the one where they win it all, and then the guy that's supposed to win ends up like below 6th place, 10th place. Or maybe they just crash out. So hey, it's a little moral victory for them.
Yeah, definitely. That will be one hell of a surprise if that ends up happening. But I mean, yeah, just for us as commentators, anybody that comes in and does something unexpected or anything that happens unexpectedly in the race is definitely a good thing. So we'll just have to wait and see what sort of surprise we're going to get here today from the Mexican Grand Prix. We were just on board there with Failed UX, our champion of this Season 9 in this particular class, in Golden Class. And he's currently sitting 5th in this qualifying session with a 115.5, just letting people out of the way there. M9H Racing, who was on pole briefly, is now currently 4th with a 115.5 as well. So there's quite a few people there around 115.4, 0.5, and 0.6, pretty much all the way from 3rd to about 8th.
From the 115s, actually to 9th.
Yeah, almost. Yeah. And then we've got Flip Flop Fish, who's currently back on pole again with a 115.154. Wow. Ridiculously quick time. He's just had somebody coming into the pits there and spin out a little bit. That was RC7, lost a couple of pieces of his front wing.
Well, you know what? If the race is going to be extremely wet, full wets, I think this is the reason why everybody's trying to put in that quick, super quick lap time to get those good positions, because a wet rain in Mexico, yeah, it's going to be tough. Like I said, you got to worry about, see, now it's going to be a little different, because the tire pressure you don't have to really worry about, because you're not dealing with a hot surface track. Now you're just dealing with a nice cool track, but you still have to worry about the rear suspension, because it's going to play a factor.
Yeah, and I was just watching Seagrease there coming out on this outlap. He was definitely taking liberties with the track. He was just pretty much going straight through everything. So that was very interesting. I'm not sure what sort of strategy he's got for today.
Oh, he just ran straight through track?
Yeah, on this outlap, he was just running through the grass and cutting all of the corners. I'm not sure if he's doing that on purpose, or if that's just, you know, season finale, so not much else to care for. But I'm not sure if he's if he knows he's very close in the battle for third place in the standings, and even though it's not the championship, it's still third place.
Yeah, like I said, you want to finish strong, man. You don't want to just, you know, you got a chance to write some history here. You know, put your name in the record books. Why not?
Absolutely. So let's see who's gonna do that here today out of all of our drivers tonight.
Oh wow.
Oh.
JFD, he got a 1:14.9.
Wow. And I'm just watching our board right now with W as he's about to start his hot lap. We're hoping that he's gonna put in some good performances here today as well.
Yeah. Those Ferraris look strong. They definitely look strong.
All right, and we've got 5.5 minutes to go still in this qualifying session, as W is on his hot lap right now, running through corners, turn 3 and 2 there, and now opening up the DRS onto a little bit of a straight until turn 4 again. Just as a heads up for everybody, I'm having very, very crazy weather outside of my window right now. There's a massive thunderstorm. And my phone just let me know that there's also a tornado warning. So, in case the stream goes out or if my power goes out or something, I just want to apologize ahead of time, but hopefully we can avoid all of that. And we'll continue on with the session as it goes so far.
Well, hopefully, yeah. I don't want that. See, look at that. You're dealing with wet weather too. Look at that. See?
Exactly, yeah, it's sort of fitting for apparently what we've got lined up for us in the race. Again, this is just some intel coming from some of the racers. I'm not 100% sure that this is correct, but I mean, I do trust our drivers here, and if they say there's rain, then we're going to see some rain. And W does a 115.3, puts himself into 5th currently.
Okay, nice work.
And it looks like Flip-Flop Fish is back out there again on another hot lap. This guy does not calm down, does not relax. Now he's put on a brand new set of soft tires. And from my own experience here yesterday, I ran on all of the 3 provided sets of softs, which ended up meaning I had to run, if I did want to run on one of the softs again in the race, I had to run on the used set. So that might be definitely a factor to consider here as well if you are considering doing all 3 runs on all of your tire compounds. Just remember, one of them is going to be warned when you start the race. And there's Flip-Flop Fish now coming into the stadium section here in Mexico, going around the hairpin. He's only got a couple of corners to go now. He's coming. Oh, failed UX 114.972, and now Flip-Flop Fish is about to cross the line, and he is a 114.7.
Wow. Split the Ferraris.
I think that guy's an alien.
Oh man, I'm telling you, it must be it gotta be a real bad rain coming, because these guys are fighting for that pole position, and you don't want to be in anybody's way when those 5 red lights go out, and you want clear air all the way. It's gonna be trouble. Especially if there's no DRS.
Yeah, so all of our drivers here today are really pushing for it in qualifying. It looks like we are going to have a wet race So pretty much tire compounds don't matter at this point. You can use everything you want if you're going to be starting on intermediates and wets later on. So yeah, let's see here. Now, Failed UX, I think, has just finished his lap with a 114.972. So he's currently sitting in second position. JFD is currently sitting in third. Flip Flop Fish in first. And yeah, even Failed UX is taking very huge liberties with the track here on his lap back into the pits.
Okay, well, see, this is the thing. I don't know if that's a good idea if you should be burning your tires like that. I mean, even if it's a full wet session, I mean, you never know. The weather might change on you. You never know. You might want to save that. But.
And this game is extremely unpredictable when it comes to that kind of stuff, so you're absolutely correct.
Yeah.
Alright, so we just had Charges retire from the session. He did not put in a time in the session. I'm not sure what happened to him, and now McChicken is about to finish his out lap, and he's going to be starting a hot lap around Mexico. He's currently sitting in 14th, which is a big change and a big difference to where he was sitting last weekend in qualifying. He did quite well there, so I'd be expecting him to try and improve on that time quite massively.
Oh yeah, sure.
Oh, he's going to have a bit of traffic on his way out. He's got a couple of people on their way out of the pits. And one person is letting him through. That's RC7. JFD is gonna, let's see if he's gonna let him through here. McChicken gets a little bit of a messy run there through turns 1, 2, and 3, but considering he's got that much traffic in front of him, I wouldn't be surprised. Now, JFD is actually trying to make it to the line, but he's only got 30 seconds to go. I don't know what he's fighting at, and now he's just going to be creating a bunch of traffic for McChicken, who's trying to get a good lap in there, and that's creating quite a bit of chaos now. Yeah. Oh no, McChicken has invalidated his lap. And he's only got 14 seconds left on the clock. I don't think he's going to have enough. Let's see if JFD is going to be able to make it. He's got 8 seconds. He's coming into the stadium section. There's no way he's going to make that.
3, 2, 1.
Oh, RC was crashed into the wall at the stadium section on his outlap and did not make it to the line either. Let's see if anybody did. I think Flying Jippo did make it through. Yeah, he's currently running on his lap right now. Let's see what he's going to be able to put in here. Unfortunately, the game's got the rev glitch going on his onboard, so not to annoy everyone, we're just going to watch as a Red Bull there has spun out and crashed, so he had to avoid that, but he managed to put in the quickest second sector, and now he's coming in through the stadium section. Just one more corner to go here. Let's see if Flying Jippo is going to be able to steal pole position here in the dying seconds of qualifying. As he goes second, 114.817, exactly 1/10.
I think Seagrass might have. Oh, damn, he hit the wall. I was gonna say Seagrass, but I think he had hit the wall, and he might have moved up more positions.
Yeah, so Flying Jippo ended up in second there, exactly 1/10 behind Flip Flop Fish. And as far as I remember, that is the closest we've had anybody in qualifying in the last few races come to the Fish himself.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be interesting.
So, Flying Jippo, as we talked to him before the race, he's in the running here to secure P3 overall in this season, which, you know, when you're considering that you're racing with the likes of Flip Flop Fish and Latope, Failed UX, and Latope, and RC7, and W, and Dre, honestly, there's so many different names in here that are amazing every single week. I think that's very impressive. If you can secure P3 with the likes of those sort of people, you're definitely one of the better drivers on track.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. You deserve to be up there. If not, then you know, unless you become a dark horse or something, then, make a real name for yourself.
Alright, let's run through the qualifying grid here for the Mexican Grand Prix for Golden Class of TCR Season 9, the season finale. It's Flip Flop Fish on pole position, Flying Jippo in second, Latope in third, Failed UX, our champion in fourth, JFD in fifth, FYKV in sixth, Z-Grease in seventh, RC7 in eighth, M9H in ninth, W in 10th, Bam Bam in 11th, Dre Diggy is 12th, Gordo is 13th, McChicken is 14th, Chargers 15th, Coleman, Red Wing, and Ben Swervin. Those people did not set a time, so they'll be starting towards the back of the grid. So, season finale. It's been a very exciting season. We've had all kinds of different surprises. We're hoping that some drivers might surprise us here tonight as well. Mr. Sensation, you did, as I said, a great job of prediction last week. Other than the weather, which is now very apparent to all of our viewers, what do you think? What are you predicting for this one? What's going to be a very exciting moment that's going to happen, or very surprising one?
I got the safety car coming out at least 2 times.
At least 2 times. All right. So
At
our
least 2
viewers.
times.
Our viewers as well, please leave in the comments any sort of predictions, or let us know if you are here cheering and rooting for any of your favorite drivers throughout the season. Who do you think is going to be on podium tonight? Pretty much anything you guys want to let us know about, leave it in the comments. We'd really love to hear from you. And remember to subscribe to the channel, as we are now getting ready to start our formation lap here. And it looks very wet out there. It looks like most of our grid is going to be starting on the intermediate tires. Yeah, and I'm not sure if this is classified as heavy rain, but it definitely looks quite heavy out there.
It does look quite heavy out there. I don't know, is that the right tire to start off? And we got 36 laps of this stuff, so we're looking at heavy rain, but they're on the inters. I don't know about this one.
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't get the full weather forecast. Again, I keep on mentioning this. Codemasters, if you're watching, please include it in the next one, or in an update or something. Let us commentators, let us have a commentator mode where we can have multiple angles, weather forecasts, tire strategies, extra information. That would be absolutely amazing. Oh, as Flip-Flop Fish is trying to warm up the tires there on his outlap, and the car is just stepping out on him all over the place. I think this is going to be one of the most exciting Grand Prix we've seen in the season so far.
Oh yeah, absolutely, definitely. I'm telling you, man, this first I always like to look at it as the first 5 laps is the trouble laps. Once you get past those 5 laps, we should be all right. That's when the separation should happen. But due to the fact that we're racing on the wets, it's going to be one of 2 safety cars coming our way.
All right, we've also got some predictions for podium finishers coming in the comments. 007 Professional. 007 Professional, one of our commentators from last night from Silver Class, thinks Failed, Flip-Flop Fish, and Jippo are going to be the top 3 for us today. I'm going to have to go with Lataupe. I think I've seen him before once. Oh, and we've got JFD touching the back of Failed there on the outlap as they're trying to get reformed back on the grid, and they get reset back onto the line. It's definitely looking already very tricky. But yeah, I was going to say, I think Lataupe, starting in that 3rd position, that's not going to be very bad for him at all, and we've seen him in the wet a couple of times throughout the season. He does have pretty good pace in the wet, and also, I mean, with wet conditions, it's like all, bets are completely off. Anything can happen. Anyone can spin out and crash, even, the likes of Flip-Flop Fish and all the rest of them.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Setup is going to be very important in Mexico, man.
Alright, so we are ready to go here, and we are back on the grid. We're waiting for the lights to go, and they are coming on now. 3, 4, 5 lights are on, and we go racing in Mexico for the season finale. It's a very slow get-off from one of the Red Bulls at the back, and a couple of other people having a very slow get-off as well. JFD dropping a couple of positions as well. Failed UX is getting ahead of him. FYKV up to 5th position. Now we're going to go into the first corner. Let's see if there's going to be any incidents. We're on board with Z-Grease now, and there's definitely a couple of people touching. FYKV and Failed making a little bit of touch. M9 Racing going a little bit wide. RC7 has now overtaken Z-Grease into turn 3, and they're getting a little bit loose on the exit of turn 3 as well, as we're back to back on the straight into turn 4. We've got a yellow flag at the back. It looks like Gordo has had a little bit of an incident. Oh, and now Zegri's going deep down on M9H Racing, and now he's overtaken by both Dre and M9 Racing from behind him. And wow, everything is just happening here so quickly.
Yeah, flags in sectors 1 and 2 looked like a lot of debris was being thrown up in the air.
Now we're into the S's for the first time here in very, very wet weather. Let's see how our drivers are going to cope with this. We've got somebody off M9H Racing going a little bit wide. We've still got yellow flags at the starting of Sector 2. That looks to be Gordo still having trouble. And Coleman has gained a couple of positions as M9H Racing has gone wide, and RC7 has overtaken him as well. Back at the front there, it looks like Failed UX and McChicken are battling for position, as now McChicken is down a position, but W behind him is making tiny little touches on his back as well. Everything is kicking off already in the first couple of laps. I'm surprised we don't have a safety car yet.
Not yet, but it's coming, don't worry.
Alright, let's see if your crystal ball is going to work here today as well as it worked in the USA last week. W is closing in on McChicken into turn 1 as Failed UX almost hits the back of FYKV in front of them. And yeah, people are very, very close together, and this is already producing a lot of different battling everywhere. Bam Bam and M9H Racing, oh, they make a little bit of a touch. M9H Racing had to go wide there to avoid a bigger incident, and he's down to 14th place now. He came into this race with a lot of potential in qualifying. He was showing that he's definitely got the pace here today, but the wet weather changes everything completely, as now RC7 is battling with Zegri's into the double right-hander at the end of Sector 2. Very, very interesting stuff here already.
Definitely is. I'm very impressed with Coleman's performance so far. He's in the top 10, and he's just taking his time. He's just managing. Whoa, just as I say that, hello. He just hit the wall. Still letting everybody by here.
Yeah, unfortunately, we saw that on the stream as well, as Coleman hit the wall at the end of Sector 2 through the S's.
Oh man, look, is that a Mercedes that just? Yes, it was.
It looks like Failed UX had a very bad exit through the last corner, and he's being overtaken by quite a few different cars. McChicken, W, and Dre Diggy are all making an attack on him right now.
Oh yeah, and I don't think the DRS is available, correct?
Oh no, definitely not.
Okay.
So everything is already kicking off, but so far it looks like most of our drivers are managing to keep it somewhat clean. I think people are trying to play it smart here, and they don't want to get damage. Avoid that at all costs, as damage in the wet races definitely very dangerous. As now Failed UX goes down the inside of McChicken there, trying to overtake him. Wasn't quite enough space there, as W behind him is very, very close as well. This is a huge train here, all the way down from FYKV, McChicken, Failed UX, W, Dre. They're all following each other very, very closely.
Yeah, it's definitely a long train indeed.
Oh, McChicken going a bit wide, and that opens up the door for Failed UX to slide up the inside around the right side, and he's up into 6th position. McChicken is very close behind, and now he's also under attack by W.
And we got our first penalty, Ben swerving 3 seconds.
And around this track, it's definitely very easy to get penalties, and quite a few of them. I think somebody in Silver Class last night had around 20 seconds total.
Yeah, I saw that last night's race. I was like, man. Ugh.
Flip-Flop Fish is going for a move on Flying Jippo, locks up the front tires and almost goes a little bit too deep there, but manages to avoid the incident. But this is incredible. Flying Jippo, oh, Flying Jippo gets a really bad exit out of turn 3. I was just gonna say he's managing to keep a really impressive pace here and fighting off Fish himself. Oh, Flip-Flop Fish, another huge lockup into turn 4.
Struggling.
Definitely everybody's struggling here. Flying Jippo going wide now through the double right-hander, and now it looks like Flip-Flop Fish is gonna try and get the position ahead. He's getting wheel spin on the back all over the place. Flying Jippo manages to keep first position, and this is turning out to be a very, very impressive battle between Flying Jippo and Flip-Flop Fish, and there we go, another surprise that we weren't expecting at all.
No, definitely wasn't expecting that one, and I like the fact that Luto is still up there. This is what I like to see. Whoa, he cut the corner right there. No penalty? Okay. Coleman just cut the corner, no penalty.
Well, maybe he just got a warning there. Penalty could come later on. Maybe he's, you know, saving them up, so to speak. And there we go. Yeah, I was just going to say as well, 3 or 4 seconds behind the main battle up at the front. We've also got Latope, who's being chased down by JFD. JFD is 0.4 of a second behind. And yeah, this is a very good battle as well. Latope is trying to fight for the overall P3 position as well, but as it stands right now, if Flying Jippo manages to keep first place, then he's gonna definitely get that P3 overall over Latope and everybody else that he's currently competing with. But as I say that, Flip Flop Fish and Flying Jippo are still battling now very, very closely, wheel to wheel, into turn 4, and now into turn 5. It looks like Flip Flop Fish just manages to get ahead, and now Flying Jippo is going to have to make up some of that time and try to get ahead of him again. But Flying Jippo, I mean, Flip Flop Fish doesn't seem to be liking this wet weather too much.
No, I don't think so. As like I said, man, this is a very fast track, and now you can't perform the way you would like to. We got a yellow flag in sector 2. Like that's that is FYKV85. He looked like he went into the wall, and he looked like he lost his wing there. Definitely got some heavily wing damage. Oh.
Yeah, he's missing a whole right side of his front wing, so that's not going to help him at all here. So this is again showing us that this is very, very tricky conditions that we are racing in today. It looks like Flip Flop Fish is now managing to keep a second in front of Flying Jippo. But it's definitely not over yet, as anything can still happen in these conditions. You make one tiny mistake and that could completely ruin your race.
Yeah, and or you know, in a battle for third could be the season.
Absolutely, and now at the back there, W is fighting for position with Coleman for 12th there, but Coleman manages to keep his position in front of W, and they're gonna have to keep this going. Oh, and now Coleman cuts the corner massively again, but he's doing it very, very slowly, and I'm wondering if maybe that is the key to not getting warnings and penalties.
Well, that's what he did before. That's why I was pretty surprised. Yeah, W is definitely trying to make a move on him.
Yeah, and Coleman loses the back a little bit coming into the corner as W locks up his fronts, so neither one of them gaining or losing time. Bam Bam and RC7 coming and touching a little bit too much there, pushing each other off of the track. Coleman loses his back coming out of the corner, and now W touches him on the back as well.
Oh man, the end plate lost on that one too.
Very, very close racing here today as Coleman cuts another corner through the S's here, and he's trying to put a move onto Bam Bam. The position changes here are happening so constantly that I can't even keep up with it, and there's definitely battles all over the place, but mostly there's a lot of battling going on towards the sort of 10th, 11th, and 12th or so.
Yes, definitely, and Coleman is like, he's pushing hard. I think W just went to the pits.
Yeah, we're riding on board with Coleman, and we can see that he is very, very slidey on the exits of corners. W is the first one to go into the pits. I'm not sure if he wants to just replace his front wing or if he's changing tires. He looks to be serving a penalty. Or is he retiring? No, he definitely... I'm not sure what happened. He was just stuck in the pits.
W?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did get an end plate, but
I didn't see a front wing change, but he was just stuck in the pits there for quite a while after all of his wheels were changed and everything.
Maybe he did have to serve a penalty, but he did run into the back of Coleman because Coleman had to slam the brakes there on that train that was in front of him.
And speaking of Coleman, we're back on board with him as him and RC are very, very close together there coming through the S's. RC probably wants to get away from him as soon as possible and just try to catch up on Bam Bam a little bit. Coleman cutting the corner massively again on the last little left-hander there. And Flip-Flop Fish in the meantime putting in quickest laps and got 3 seconds ahead of Flying Jimbo as RC7 runs very wide on the exit of that corner. They're coming into the stadium section, and he's closing in on Bam Bam, and Coleman behind him is closing in as well. But this seems to be a sort of battle where they're locked in together and they're all having a bit of trouble, maybe with the setup or maybe with the tire temperatures. I really don't know exactly what it can be, but now Coleman is getting a very good run on RC.
Okay, Coleman. Oh man, they're touching.
They are definitely touching, as we can see from RC's on board, but RC gets a better run into turn 1, it looks like, and they managed to get through. Bam Bam gets a 3-second penalty for running wide through that corner, and we've got a yellow flag in sector 3. It looks to be Gordo. Yeah, Gordo has had some trouble, and I think he's had a spin.
Oh boy.
Oh my goodness, Coleman just hitting the back of his teammate there, RC7. Again, very close battling. Gordo is our first DNF here today. He's retired in the pits. I guess he's had enough of trouble, and it's the season finale. Maybe he doesn't have much to fight for today.
Oh, Coleman almost lost it there.
And Coleman cutting the corner again. He just keeps on going through that corner very wide. But now he's quite a bit of time behind RC and Bam Bam. RC keeps on running wide on the exit of some corners as well.
Yeah, it seems like this rain is not letting up as of yet.
Yeah, not at all. I don't even see any sort of break in the clouds anywhere. It's just very wet. We are now on lap 9 of 36, and because of these slower lap times, it's definitely going to slow down the overall race as well. Watching towards the back as the two Mercedes are fighting with each other. Ben Swerven is catching up on Chargers to fight for 13th position.
Yeah, this is... I would like to see W get back into this race, man, because he was one of my picks.
Yeah, safety car or maybe a change in the weather would definitely shake things up here today in Mexico. I would be very excited to see that. We just have to pray and hope that something happens that will change up the sort of weather or the strategy that we're currently on for most of the drivers. But we do still have some battling going on, as I mentioned. Ben Swerven and Charges. Everybody's having very bad trouble coming out of the hairpin into the second sector, just losing the back through there and now through the S's as well. Up ahead of them, RC7 and Bam Bam are still within a second of each other, but it doesn't seem like RC is able to close in too much time on Bam Bam.
No, he's not. He's not able to do it, really. It's like right in his grasp. It's like right there. I mean, I guess some people know how to drive in the rain, and then I guess when you haven't drove in the rain for so long, you kind of lose your touch of how to push, when to push, when not to push, and when you get away from that, you try to come back to it. It's very difficult. Oh, somebody went off the track.
That's RC. He went very wide through turn 1 and then had to cut all of turn 2, and he's got an instant 5-second penalty for corner cutting because of that. And now Coleman, his own teammate, is going to try and go around the outside into turn 4. I don't think that's going to work out. There we go. There's more contact there. RC7 had to go a little bit wide to avoid the incident again. Coleman is on a huge attack here today. I'm not sure what he's fighting for.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I think if Coleman is faster, let him just go ahead and just go. Just let him go.
And RC just got another 3-second penalty as well, so that's 8 seconds of penalties within 1 lap for RC7. Right. I'm sure penalties are going to be plenty, and they're definitely going to play a part at the end of this Grand Prix. But I know all of the drivers here today, they still want to get the best position they possibly can on track. And then, you know, if penalties do give you a little bit of an advantage after the race, then so be it. But Definitely don't want to hope for that. Oh, and both of them going to the pits. They're going to be double stacking. Both Coleman and RC7. This is going to be a disaster.
Oh, man, that's not good. That is not good. That's going to hurt.
Failed UX gets a 3-second penalty, and that shows you even champions here today in these conditions can get penalties. And it looks like RC7 is also serving his 5-second penalty in the pit, so Coleman just gets completely just annihilated on his pit stop here. Would have been better off continuing on for another lap, and that overall pit stop is going to be probably around 30 seconds or so.
Yeah, but I think Coleman had left the session, so his car is ghosting.
I don't see a ghost. I see a full car on track, so I think he's still here.
Yeah, it might be, but it just said he had left.
Oh, there we go. He's just rejoined. Yeah, I think he had a minor disconnection. If some of our drivers are in North America and like towards the Canadian border, I know that there's a huge thunderstorm and tornado warning coming in, so possibly some of our drivers might be having some issues with connections.
Yeah, probably so. I think that's what it is.
Alright, now watching on board with McChicken here. He's actually right behind Failed UX, our champion for this season and in this class, the golden class of TCR Racing. McChicken has only come in last week for his first debut in the season, and he did not have a very good race. He was not very happy overall with how things ended up. And I think one of his, was it his teammate, or no, not his teammate, but somebody else was also a brand new driver last week, and they didn't have a very good time either.
Oh, which one was that?
Yeah, I guess neither one of us can remember. And now JFD and Latope are in battle for a third position here.
Right.
Let me see if JFD has made any sort of stops here. No, so neither one of them has made their stops, so they just caught up to each other on track.
Okay. Okay, I guess that'll work.
Yeah, I think Latope is starting to lose a little bit of the pace that he had initially in the race. We're now on lap 12 of 36, so judging by the current pace of people, if you're starting to lose pace around this time, and Flip Flop Fish has just gone into the pits for his stop as well, if we've got 36 laps to run, that means you're gonna have to make what, 3 stops?
If you can play it out, maybe not 3 stops, but that might be the possibility. Yeah.
And I guess it also depends if we're gonna stay with this exact weather, or if that's gonna possibly. As now JFD has moved for a defensive position in Failed UX, and they both make a touch. Failed UX almost loses the car there, but he manages to keep it together and manages to make the overtake work as well. So Failed UX back into third position over JFD 44, but that was very, very dangerous there for a minute.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Now McChicken is trying to make an attack on JFD from behind. I'm watching on board with him as he almost locked up into turn 4. That was quite dangerous through there. He's closing up to JFD very, very quickly, and I'm now starting to wonder if JFD and everybody else on those tires that have started the race on them are starting to lose a little bit of their grip.
Oh, I think so. Ooh.
We've got a yellow in sector 3. It looks like Coleman.
Oh, Coleman again. Struggling.
Coleman has spun out on his entry into the pit, and now he's going into the pits, but he's now missing his front wing as well.
Jeez, he might just, yep, there he is. He just packed up the tent. That's it.
Yep, so there we go. We've got our second retirement in this Mexican Grand Prix and our season finale of Golden Class, and that is Coleman. Now we've got a bunch of people into the pits. We've had Failed UX has just pitted, who's just made his stop, and it looked like McChicken was going for a stop, but I think that was a fake to try and trick JFD, but JFD didn't go for it, and now McChicken is trying to go down the inside into turn 1. It looks like there's a little bit of a touch, but they keep it clean through turn 2 as well. Turn 3, another tiny touch, but they still managed to keep it together there. Very impressive driving from both McChicken and JFD.
Yes, but here's where people like to do a little quick overtake right here, is right in that little small section. going into Sector 2.
Now, I want to mention Flying Jippo again because right now he's in the lead.
Yes.
He's actually managing to slightly increase his gap onto Latope and everybody else. Flip Flop Fish has just made a stop 1 lap ago, and he's currently behind McChicken, so he's going to have to get through McChicken, JFD, and Latope to get to Flying Jippo. If Flying Jippo can manage these tires a little bit better than everybody else, he might have a slight chance of doing a little bit of an overcut here.
It's a possibility, yes. He can probably do it too.
He seems to be. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, what you was about to say?
Yeah, I was gonna say he seems to be able to keep it together overall, so he's continuing on for another lap.
Well, we'll see the fish. Oh boy. Okay, the fish. That's what the fish was looking for. He was looking for that opening. So now the chicken is getting his little pit entry here. But I'm telling you, Fish is gonna try to get that that draft off his teammate. Once he gets in front, then that's when Fish is going to be on the attack.
That was very close on the exit there between McChicken and Dre Diggy, but it looks like McChicken is going to come out in about 10th as Chargers goes past him right now as he rejoins on the track. Yeah, he's going to be in 10th place, and this is going to promote Flip Flop Fish into 4th. So now it's Flying Jippo has got 9 seconds on Latope, another 2.5 seconds on JFD, another 1 second on Flip Flop Fish. So that's about 14 seconds altogether, or 11 seconds altogether. I mean, Flying Jippo, if he can pull out another couple of seconds on this next couple of laps, that's just enough for a pit stop.
Yeah, just enough, but it's always about managing that gap. Once you do what you got to do, hopefully you don't got to do too much. You know, you just want to get a quick tire change and just get out of there and do what you got to do. 5 seconds speeding in the pit lane for Red Wing.
Wow, and we actually missed out on this completely. I just got a message on the comments here. Failed UX went on the wet tire.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, and there goes Flying Jippo into the pits. So Flying Jippo just made his pit stop. Flip Flop Fish, JFD, and Latope have all gotten ahead of him. Now JFD and Latope have not made their stops yet. Flip Flop Fish is now making a move on JFD, and it looks like he's made it work.
Yeah, I'm telling you, he just wants to get in front. JFD is gonna be right behind him, so they're gonna just toe off each other at this point. He just needed Fish to get in front. And this is where the catfishing begins.
Yes, Flip Flop Fish already putting in a purple first sector on a 3-lap old medium tire. He's got a little bit of open air in front of him. I think that's allowing him to put in some good times right now. We've got a yellow flag in Sector 1. It looks like FYKV again is having a little bit of trouble, but it looks like he's back on it. And yeah, Red Wing Racing in the meantime retired as well, so we have 3 DNFs already. But guess what, your prediction so far is not working out at all. We haven't had a single safety car.
Wow, the night is still young, my friend.
You have much to learn, my young Padawan.
Oh man, I've seen this happen before many a times. Now you said earlier somebody was on the full wets. Now who was that?
That is our champion, Failed UX in 10th place, is currently running on a full wet tire, as we see Latope pulling into the pits, and Flip Flop Fish sets a 128.6 for the fastest lap in this race so far.
This guy's a maniac.
And now the 2 Ferraris are up in the lead there, but JFD has not made a stop, and this is also now promoting Seagrease into 3rd position, but he also has not made a stop. Overall though, Flying Jippo, it looks like he did gain some time on the overcut. He didn't manage to keep his position, didn't pull out enough time, but now he's in a pretty good position to try and catch up to the guys in front, considering that once Seagrease and JFD make their stops, he's going to be right there behind Flip Flop Fish.
Right, and Fail just went to change his tires to go back to the inters.
Yeah, I definitely think that those wets did not work out, especially, you know, you might want to put on wet tires at the start of the race if you think it's really bad, but once you've been racing for 17 laps now, even on this game, there's a there's a dry line that starts opening up, and
Right.
yeah, there's no point of switching over to wets later in the race. So a little bit of a missed call there from Failed UX, but he doesn't really care. He's already the champion. He's had some chances to finish in the points in the last couple of races, but instead he decided to do donuts. So he definitely doesn't really care if he goes on wets or inters or anything else.
No, he doesn't. Man, this guy is putting in some times.
128.5 now for another fastest lap from Flip Flop Fish himself.
Oh, okay. We got something going on with Ben swerving and FYKV. I guess they're battling here, and looks like we got a spinner.
Ben
That's
swerving.
Yeah.
He's had a little bit of a spin through turn one through what was it there? Through the S's. Did he make a touch with FYKV? Was it?
It was a little touch, yeah, and then it just spun him back.
And now Bam Bam is into the pits. He's got his tires changed, and again, I'm not sure if this is a glitch that the game is showing, but it looks like some people just not coming out of the pits, or maybe they're having that trouble with the manual release.
Oh yeah, that definitely do it too. Yep.
Alright, so just to run through the grid as we are now on lap 18, halfway through this Mexican Grand Prix for the season finale of Golden Class of Season 9 of TCR. We've got Flip Flop Fish back up in the lead again, as we've been so used to in the last 4 or 5 Grand Prix already. As soon as he came into this league, he's been very, very impressive, and he's already got his P2 overall in this championship secured. We've got JFD currently running in second, his teammate. And there we go, Flip Flop Fish with another fastest lap, 128.459. Absolutely ridiculous. That guy is completely an alien. So now Seagrease goes into the pits. This promotes Flying Jibbo into third place, which is also the place that he's currently battling for overall in the championship, P3. JFD is in front of him, about 6 seconds in front in P2. Seagrease is currently running in P5 as he just dropped the positions. He goes into the pits, so that promotes Latope into P4, McChicken into P5, Dre into P6, and currently Seagrease is P7, W is P8. Chargers has now gone into the pits as well from P9, so that's going to probably promote a couple of people. We've got another spin from Ben swerving again through the S's, and also a 3-time second penalty and a safety car.
Oh, that's one. That's one of two.
Our first safety car in this Grand Prix, and unfortunately this is going to hurt some people who have just pitted right before it, like Seagrease and like Latope.
Well, I was noticing that, okay, my main man Catfish here was, what he did, like 4 straight laps of fastest lap times? About 4 straight already?
Yeah,
I was thinking...
Yeah.
Yeah, right? So, okay, I was thinking maybe what was going on is that the rain was lighting up. So, obviously his times were getting much faster. So, I don't know if that's going to call for the dry tire effect to come out. I don't know if it's getting close to a time to change over to the dries, but I'm just noticing that he's keep pulling lap after lap after lap. I was wondering, like, you know, maybe this track might dry out.
Well, that would be very exciting if it did. It would be exciting to see a little bit of green flag, DRS racing for at least a few laps in this finale of the season. But right now, it doesn't really look to be lightening up at all on the track. And Flip Flop Fish has actually made another stop and came back out in the lead. So it's just everything is just falling into his lap.
Oh yeah, it definitely is. But now we got the reset button here, and let's see what's going to happen. Now these guys can bunch up again. We can have a changing of the guard. See what happens. So let's see that safety car came in at what, about lap 20 maybe?
I think it came out at lap 19.
19, so that's what it goes in on 23?
Well, we'll have to wait maybe 22 or 23. It's really very, very random. It also depends on how quickly the whole field sort of close up together. Right. Or if anybody decides to make a stop, or if there's any incidents throughout the safety car, but usually it does 3 laps on track, and then it will go back in.
Okay. So, it's going to be interesting when it hits, I'm going with lap 23, it's going to be interesting.
Alright, so we've got our first safety car of this Grand Prix. It came out on lap 19 of 36, we're currently on lap 20. And hopefully we're going to have just 1 or 2 more laps under the safety car and we'll get back to racing here again in the season finale. As a reminder, this is round 16. It's been a very, very good season so far. We've had some really, really amazing and exciting Grand Prix to watch. Some really great battling that we've seen from many of our drivers. So if you guys have missed out on some of the action throughout the season, or if you're new to this online racing league, definitely check us out. Check out all of the other races that we've done. We're also gonna make a little bit of a season recap video later on to show you guys exactly how things went for each one of the classes. So yeah, stay tuned for that. But I do want to already thank all of the viewers that we've had so far in our stream. We've had a good turnout here today, some good comments coming in. A lot of people are cheering for people like Fish and Latope and JFD and Flying Jippo. Those people are doing quite well so far, and now with the safety car, everybody's got to get bunched up together, so hopefully we'll have some more exciting position changes for the rest of the race here.
Well, hopefully so, man. I think we are. Still looking for the second safety car, though.
And, yeah, and hopefully a little bit of clearer weather.
And hopefully that, too. You got to have that, yeah.
Alright, so as it stands right now, Flip-Flop Fish is in the lead, Latope is sitting second, JFD third, Flying Jippo fourth, Zegre's in P5, McChicken is in P6, Dre Diggy is currently in P7, M9H Racing in P8, Chargers in P9, and Failed UX, the champion of this season, is currently running around in P10 in the last point finishing position. He had a little bit of a miscall earlier on. He made a stop and decided to change over to the wet tire, and that did not work out very well for him. And I just noticed W is also on the wet tire, and I think that was that W that just got a 10-second time penalty?
I think it was.
Those are the sort of penalties we've been seeing recently at certain tracks. If you run on the safety car and you cut a corner, you might get an instant 5 or even a 10-second penalty, as just happened there. So those might get removed at the end of the race. Most of them definitely do. So hopefully he can get rid of that one.
Yeah, hopefully so. Hopefully so. I don't know. This is going to be scary, man. It's going to be scary. That's all I can say. Look like the rain is lightening. No, it's not lighting up. I thought it was.
There is a dry line on the track, but it's definitely not clearing up at all, which is very unfortunate. It would be really good to see some proper dry DRS racing around here.
Yeah, it definitely would be. But I don't think we're going to see that anytime soon.
Unfortunately, it doesn't look like it right now. So, we are currently on lap 22. We're hoping that the safety car will be coming in at the end of this lap, which means we will have another 13 or so laps of racing to go here. Unfortunately, still, as we said, under wet conditions. We've got most of the field running on intermediate tires, with the exception of W is currently on the wet tire. We've already had Failed UX go on the wet tire before, and that did not work out well for him, so let's see how that is going to work out for W. And we just got the message, safety car will be coming in at the end of this lap.
Alright, here we go. That's what I want to see.
So Flip-Flop Fish, our leader, will be pacing out the field as we are going to get restarted here in Mexico for our season finale. W gets another 5-second penalty for exceeding track limits again.
How does he?
I have no idea, but I think he might be struggling on those wet tires, to be completely honest with you. I mean, that would be the logical explanation here, as we've already had one person had a little bit of a bad time. Latope gets a little bit wiggly on the restart. Flip-Flop Fish gets a beautiful restart, and he gets already a second and a half in front of everybody else. JFD McChicken is fighting now with Seagrease, and he's going to go for the overtake on him, and it looks like he's going to get up into 5th position into turn 1.
Incredible.
Oh, and now we've got Flying Jimbo running a little bit wide, and McChicken is trying to capitalize on that, almost making a touch with him there. I think people are going to try and reheat their tires here on this restart. As I'm reading from the dashboard of McChicken, his tires are currently around 72 degrees or so.
Uh-oh, yeah, he's going to have to heat them bad boys up.
And in front of him, Flying Jippo is trying to put pressure on JFD, but McChicken himself is trying to keep behind Flying Jippo and trying to close in. He's also got Zegrease on the back of him, very, very close behind. Dre Diggy in 7th, and M9H Racing, everybody's very close on this restart as we are on lap 23 of 36. Only 13 more laps to go, but with the safety car, it's going to bunch up everybody again, and we might see some incidents or some touching or some spins.
Oh, we're going to get all that good stuff.
Oh, up ahead now, we've got JFD and Flying Jippo battling up again.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
And Flip-Flop Fish already impressing again with a 127.7, so I think you're right. There's definitely a little bit of an increase in pace on this track. Maybe the rain is lightening up. Now Flying Jippo is going to go for a move on JFD as McChicken actually went for a pit stop. I think he might have a bit of damage.
Yeah, he might have. I think he did a little bit of touching in the back there.
JFD and Flying Jippo doing a bit of touching of their own, and JFD almost losing the car on the exit of turn 3. Behind them, Dre Diggy overtaking Seagrease for 5th position, and now Dre is going to try and close up to JFD. Ben Swerven gets another 5-second time penalty. Oh, we've got a massive incident. It's failed UX, and I think there's somebody else as well. There's just crazy stuff happening up there.
We got two safety cars today, 2.
Oh my goodness, I can't believe it. Another crystal ball prediction from our Mr. Sensation. And Failed UX is disqualified from the session for going the wrong way.
Oh, come on, champ.
Zegrease gets a drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car.
How?
And Ben Swerven, 3-second time penalty for corner cutting.
Come on. Give me a break.
Now I'm just going through the field here. I'm trying to see if anybody else has any sort of damage.
How do you ignore the yellows? M9 ignoring yellows? Come on.
I don't see any more damage for anybody else, so it looks like Failed UX smashed into the back of someone.
M9's going into pits. He has no wing.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, I can see that now. M9H Racing is missing most of his front wing, and it looks like behind them also Bam Bam is coming in as well.
Is that Bam Bam? Or
no, it's Seagrease.
Seagrease.
And also RC7 and W. They have all elected to pit. So, second safety car, only a couple of laps after the first safety car has gone back in. M9H Racing is serving a 5-second penalty. Now he's getting his tires changed. Now he's getting his front wing on. And now he's going to be coming out, but he's going to lose a position to W and Zegrease. I think, no, yes, Zegrease gets ahead of him as well. So M9H Racing loses both of those positions. RC7 goes onto the wet tire.
Oh boy.
So a very interesting turn of event here coming on lap 25 of 36 in this season finale here. Second safety car. Just like Mr. Sensation predicted. Is that why they call you Mr. Sensation?
Well, you know.
Well, I mean, definitely you have some sort of a crystal ball, and it definitely works. Oh yeah, man.
Hey, man. Listen. Once you see one race, you see them all, man. Oh, somebody just flew off the track there. There was Is there a Mercedes that is ghosting?
Let's see here. Ben Swervin.
I think it might have been Charger. I'm not sure.
He looks to be alright on my screen here, but not really sure. I did see somebody ghosting earlier on, but might have been again a connection issue, and they might have been able to reconnect.
Maybe it might be. I don't know if it's. Is it Ben? No, Ben. Is it Ben? No, it's not Ben Swerve. It looks like it is, but I'm not sure.
Alright, so another safety car, and we're waiting for the field to bunch up there. Oh, and it looks like RC7 is back into the pits. I think he's going to be switching back over to those intermediates.
Okay, how many entries do you guys have in the garage there? Because there's only but so much.
I think you get 3 sets for the race.
Okay. So it's 3 sets for each tire? Except for the softs.
Oh, no, I think, like, in total for the whole race, you get, like, 3 sets in total, but depending on the weather, they just switch between the dries and wets. And it's really funny because RC7 came back in, switched back over to the intermediates. M9H Racing came in behind them and switched back over to the wets.
Right, so... Oh, man, you gotta know the trick with the rain in this game, because... if you don't know it, yeah, somebody is ghosting, and that is a Mercedes up ahead. And I think that is Ben Swervin, I think.
W gets another 5-second time penalty. I think he's going to have close to 25 or 30 seconds in total. We'll see that at the end of the race, but... Flying Jippo and Lataupe have both capitalized on the safety car coming out, and it looks like they made a jump on JFD by not pitting and ended up in 2nd and 3rd right now. So, for the last 10 or so laps of this Grand Prix, we're gonna have, I feel like, a battle for 3rd position. And depending if it's gonna be Flying Jippo or Lataupe coming out on top, that's also gonna decide our P3 3rd position for the whole season. I think that's quite ironic.
Yeah, definitely. Unless something changes in these matter of moments here.
And the safety car continues on for another lap, so that means that we're actually going to get restarted on lap 28. We're only going to get a total of 8 laps of racing here. And now, Mr. Sensation, an interesting question for you. So we've had 2 safety cars now. They both came out at very unexpected moments. We almost missed out sort of what happened. Like, we noticed what happened with the first one. I think that was Coleman who DNF'd. And then the second one sort of came out because of failed UX's incident. But would you say that there's a possibility we might have a 3rd one before the end of the race?
If we do have a 3rd one, I would say it would be midfield to the back. And I don't want to say the guy, but I got my eyes on McChicken. Unfortunately, between McChicken and W, it might cause a 3rd one because I'm only saying that not to pick on him, but McChicken is pretty aggressive from what we've seen from this race so far, from him battling, and of course W, safety car in this lap, and of course W also is known to kind of fight it out as well. So get ready to look at that mid part of that lineup here. So
yeah, Flying Jippo is not waiting. He's right alongside Lataupe as they're coming through the stadium section here. So he's going to be very interesting to see how these guys are going to make this restart work for them. Trying to reheat their tires. And there we go. We're on back for the restart now. Flying Jippo is already alongside Lataupe. They're almost side by side, but then he sticks to the back of him, catching the slipstream. Let's see if he's going to go for an attack here into turn 1. This is going to be very close if he does. Latoup does not want to give up the position. Flying Jippo going down the inside. Let's see if this is going to work out for them. Flying Jippo gets ahead, but now through turns 2 and 3, Latoup leaving the space on the inside, doing a great job there and managing to keep his second position as well.
Okay, alright.
And it looks like behind them, nobody is really very close to each other. It looks like the restart was a little bit troublesome for a lot of our drivers. Now McChicken making a dive down on FYKV, moving up into 8th, and he misses that corner completely, and he's off now to the right of him. So now FYKV is back up into 8th position.
Oh, McChicken, he's fighting though. He's fighting. He's trying to squeeze himself in there.
And they're going through the S's now for the first time after the restart, after the safety car.
Somebody went off wide. Who was that?
It looks like FYKV. Yeah.
He's getting back on track dangerously.
Almost hitting RC there. RC had to avoid him by all costs, but yeah, everything kicking off here now. M9H Racing is now coming around FYKV, down the inside into the stadium section on the wet tire. M9H Racing is, and it looks like it's working out for him.
Oh, yeah, so far so good. I see blue flags. What is this blue flag stuff?
That's for Ben Swerven, who is ghosting on track. You are absolutely correct on that, about that. He is lapped, but he's still in there, but ghosting is turned on, I guess, so lapped cars do get ghosted, and yeah, that's what's going on there.
Okay, alright.
Oh, it looks like Flying Jippo has made a move into turn 1 on Latoup, and he's up into P2.
Oh, boy.
Let's see if Latoup is going to be able to fight back on that, as FYKV now makes a move back on M9H Racing and gets up into 12th position. But Latoup into turn 4, locking up a little bit, but not able to close in enough on Flying Jippo. And now he's got JFD 44 behind him, putting on quite a bit of pressure.
Yeah, it's getting down to the
Oh,
wire,
we've got a yellow in sector 1 and 2. Is that Ben Swerven? It is, and he is in the wall, and he's lost most of his front wing.
Oh boy.
And back out front, JFD is still pressing onto Latoup. Seacrease gets a 3-second time penalty, and we can't forget about penalties. Those could still come into effect at the very end of the race. It could change up the finishing position. Oh, and now Latoup locks up into the stadium section, and JFD is up into 3rd again. Ben Swerven gets another 3-second time penalty. Fortunately, having quite a bit of trouble here in this race.
Yeah, I think Swerven might pack it in.
Oh, Dre Diggy now going for an overtake on Bam Bam. They touch Dre Diggy almost at the wall. He is into the wall.
Oh my goodness.
And he's lost quite a bit of his front wing as well. And he's rejoining. Oh, he's made a touch with M9H Racing, who's going into the pits, and so is Dre.
Oh boy, and look at McChicken. McChicken's going to 6.
He is overtaking Bam Bam now into what looks like to be turn 1. He's done pretty well. Ben Swerven's 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Is he going to retire?
Yeah, he done.
He does.
Yes. Stick a fork in him. He done, baby.
Alright, so back at the front now, JFD is holding that 3rd place from Latoup, who's now over a second behind. So unfortunately, it looks like at this moment, Flying Jippo is set to take away P3 overall in the overall championship, which is unfortunate for Latoup, but definitely a good thing for Flying Jippo. And he's done an amazing job through today's race. I think, you know, overall, out of all the drivers, he's had pretty much the cleanest race and a lot of good overtakes.
Yeah, he's doing a very good job on that. And McChicken, what is up with this dude, man?
Oh, he's got something to prove in the dying moments of this Grand Prix on lap 30 of 36. He's making a move on to Chargers. They do make a tiny little touch, but they still manage to keep it together. Now Chargers ghosted there for a second. That's probably due to the connection between the two drivers, but they're still in the same positions as they were. Now Chargers doesn't get as good of a run as McChicken does onto the straight. McChicken goes side by side, but then Chargers catches up now again. Tries to break the slipstream. Not gonna work there. McChicken goes around the outside now. He's gonna go down into the inside of turn 1. Let's see how this is gonna work out for them too. Chargers is gonna leave him enough space on the inside. They make another tiny touch. Chargers had he had to cut the corners, and he got a 3-second time penalty. And McChicken manages to get ahead into 5th position. At least for now.
At least for now, but look who's on the back.
Oh, Bam Bam is right beside him now, attacking into this
God.
section, and now they're touching wheels, and Charges gets pushed off wide by Bam Bam, and now he's got another person, W, down the inside of him as well, so he just lost 3 positions in a matter of, what, 3 corners?
Yeah, yeah.
And we only got 5 more laps to run here. Flying Jippo gets a 3-second time penalty. That's a little bit unfortunate, but I don't think that's going to hurt him too much. I'm not sure if JFD has got his own penalties as well, which is definitely highly likely in today's Grand Prix from what we've seen so far.
Definitely.
Now let's go on board with W here, who seems to be making his way through all of the positions here. 5-second time penalty for Chargers as well. So now that's going to set him back by another position, as FYKV is only 3.5 seconds behind him. Whoa, W there having massive trouble coming out of the last corner, almost losing the car there. And yeah, we're getting some info there. This has been the only fully wet race of the season, I think, of any class.
Oh, wow, really?
I don't think we had any other race in any other class so far that has had wet from start to finish.
Wow, that's for this whole entire season.
Yeah, I can't remember one at all. I mean, not in silver, not in gold for sure, which I like. Silver I race in, so I'd remember.
Right.
Gold I commentate on, so I would remember. And no.
Right. Wow. Okay. That's different.
All right, so W is still closing up to the back of Bam Bam, but his exits out of corners, his tires are making some sounds I've never heard before on this game.
Yeah, that's called help. I'm struggling.
Oh, so I think fastest lap, the username in our comments, that failed UX. And he said, I tried to gamble it on the first stop on full wets. Big mistake, LOL. Absolutely it was, but we did have somebody else who made them work for 1 or 2 laps. I think that was W, who we're actually on board with right now, as he's still trying to close into the back of Bam Bam. But again, just having so much trouble on the exit of the last corner onto the start-finish straight, which is, you know, without DRS, this is pretty much one of the best places to overtake.
McChicken is actually sees the and Latope in the like right there, really right there with him, but I don't know. He's something. He must be has some a lot of ERS because he's making some moves here. He's really close.
And just to take a quick look at our position changes so far, as W almost locks up and runs into the back of Bam Bam, but he's very, very close to him now. But our first 2 runners are exactly in the same positions that they started this race in. Flip Flop Fish and Flying Jippo, 1st and 2nd. JFD has managed to gain 2 positions throughout the race, currently running in 3rd, starting the race in 5th. Latope has dropped 1 position down from 3rd into 4th. McChicken has made up 8 positions throughout this race. Bam Bam has made up 10 positions, and W has made up 3. So those 3 guys are absolutely incredible, putting on another amazing show in the season, as W again locking up and almost running into the back of Bam Bam. He's going to try and go down the inside into the hairpin in the stadium section, and that's not going to be enough there. Bam Bam still keeps a 6th position, but we don't know how penalties are going to affect those positions at the end, as we are now on lap 34 of 36. Only 2 more laps to go in this season. Can you believe it, Mr. Sensation?
I can't believe it, man, but hey, this is what we're waiting for. We want to see this. Down to the wire. Who is going to do it?
Absolutely. Oh, W goes down the inside into turn 1 onto Bam Bam. They make a little bit of a touch. Bam Bam seems to have lost a position there, and W moves up. But Bam Bam is not going to be very happy with that one. It looked a little bit messy.
Yeah, it definitely did. It slowed him down in that corner, I see.
And now he's going to try and go around the outside at the next corner into turn 4. And he looks like he's going to get it, but then they make a big touch. W is off. W is coming back onto the track. He gets a 3-second time penalty.
Oh,
Let's
no.
see how that's gonna affect the final of everything here. But that was very, very dangerous between Bam Bam and W. And now W, it looks like Bam Bam is breaking earlier into most of the corners, and W is running almost into the back of him, which definitely loses him a bunch of momentum.
Yeah, he might. Yeah, those tires might be. Ooh, he's not wide.
Yeah, he's just lost it completely, and there goes RC7 overtaking him as well.
He's getting frustrated. He's definitely getting frustrated.
We've only got really one more lap to go. We're going to be starting lap 35 or 2 more laps to go. Flip Flop Fish 7.6 seconds ahead of Flying Jippo, who is 2 seconds ahead of JFD. As long as those guys stay exactly where they are right now, that will mean that Flying Jippo will get P3 in the overall standings for this season. Lataupe is 4.6 seconds behind JFD. McChicken 1.5 seconds behind Lataupe, but catching up quite quickly. We're still watching W, who's going down the inside on RC right now. He's gonna make contact with Bam Bam. He does, and he almost spins himself out. I could see that from a mile away that he was not gonna be able to stop in time there, and he almost ruined the race for himself, Bam Bam, and possibly even RC. But wow.
Yeah, hey, I told you, man, that middle field, man, is going to be aggressive. Maybe that's where you would get your third safety car, but I don't think it's going to happen now.
Not on lap 35 anymore. I don't think that's going to be very likely, although anything can still happen. We've seen many, many surprises throughout the season, and I honestly can't believe that we've only got a couple more laps left in Season 9 of TCR Gold Class. It's been absolutely incredible to watch and commentate on. Failed UX has done an amazing job. Unfortunately, he has not finished this Grand Prix, but he definitely got a good laugh out of his full wet stop there and trying to make a stint work on full wets in these conditions. So at least he provided the best of entertainment possible for the very last season finale here in this season, as the champion definitely should. And now W is very, very close with Bam Bam. They made a little bit of a touch there. Oh my god, W runs into the back of Bam Bam and then runs into the wall. RC overtakes him. We've got a yellow flag also in Sector 2 and 3, and that looks to be M9H Racing having a bit of trouble himself. And now we're on the last lap of this Grand Prix, lap 36.
And we got McChicken on the heels of Lataupe.
Let's go on board here and let's see if McChicken is going to have enough left in his tanks and his ERS and his focus and in his tires to be able to make a last-ditch effort overtake attempt on Lataupe. But honestly, I'm kind of rooting for Lataupe here. He's done an amazing job throughout the season. I'd hate him to lose more points in the very last Grand Prix.
Come on, Lataupe. Come on, that's my French candy.
Absolutely, and let's make sure this ending is going to be sweet for him, or sweet as it could possibly be. It looks like McChicken loses the back through the S's and loses a bunch of time through there. So only a couple more chances really left on this track to try and overtake. I'm not sure it's going to be enough. Now Chargers, though, behind W, he's only a couple of tenths behind.
Oh man, see?
Flip Flop Fish has already finished this Grand Prix as we were too focused on everybody else behind them fighting it out. Flying Jippo now crosses the line for second place, spins it out across the line, and he's lost the position to JFD because of penalties. So he's actually third. JFD finished second. Lataupe finishes third. So I don't know how many penalties Flying Jippo had, but that means McChicken is fifth. Now Bam Bam is going to be crossing the line next. He's going to be 6th, RC 7th, and Chargers actually jumps to 7th place. FYKV jumps him because of penalties as well, so FYKV actually finishes 7th, Chargers 8th, RC 7 9th, and Z-Grease and W are going to be our last finishers, or no, our Dre Diggy and M9H Racing are going to be the last ones, but Z-Grease is going to be taking that last point finishing position in 10th. And wow, that was absolutely crazy and chaotic for the season finale of Gold Class. But once again, Flip Flop Fish on the top step for another record-breaking performance. 5 wins in a row, and I think he's got 6 podiums in a row, which is absolutely crazy.
That's amazing.
Ferrari 1-2 in the season finale as well, so Ferrari definitely managing to secure the Constructors' Championship here as well in the dying moments of the championship. So it means that Failed UX, even though he drives for Renault, will take home the Drivers' Championship, but will not take home the Constructors' Championship.
Oh. Well. What a good season nonetheless.
It has definitely been an awesome season. It has provided us with all the excitement that we could have possibly asked for. Flip Flop Fish wins this race with JFD and Latope on the podium, Flying Jippo in 4th, McChicken 5th, Bam Bam 6th, FYKV 7th, Charger 8th, RC7 in 9th, Z-Grease takes the last point in the season finale for 10th, W 11th, Dre Diggy in 12th, M9H Racing in 13th, and then everybody down else from Ben Swerven did not finish, and that would be Red Wing, Coleman, Gordo, and Failed UX as well. We had Ben Swerven with 18 total seconds of penalties, but we also had the likes of RC7 with 12, Flying Jippo with 13 seconds total, and that is definitely what hurt him at the end there, and that's why he did not end up finishing where he finished on track in second position. But I just want to say thank you for everyone who's been watching and has been commenting. We've had so many comments coming in over this Grand Prix. I hope you guys have enjoyed this race. Let's get our podium finishers onto the interviews here, but unfortunately we're not going to be able to get a couple of them. I think Flip Flop Fish has already said that his microphone is broken. Mm-hmm. And then we had the likes of who was it? Flying Jippo. No, he ended up in 4th.
Yes, he ended up 4th.
So who finished 2nd and 3rd? Was it Latope and JFD 44?
And
that's
JFD.
Right.
Yeah,
I don't see JFD. Oh, there we go. There he is. Let's invite him into the post-race commentary. Let's see if we can hear from him and see how the race went for him. I think it was pretty chaotic from what we saw. Alright, so give us a couple of seconds here. We'll try to hear from as many people as we can get here. Let's see who else. We actually had, I guess, Flying Jippo. It looks like he already left the session here.
Yeah.
But who else? Oh, there we go. There's JFD. Congratulations on P2 here today. Great race. How did it go from your perspective? It looked like it was a little bit chaotic and sort of unpredictable at times. Was that true from where you were sitting?
Well, it's the good news for me is I think my strategy worked out pretty well. I started up in P5, and I think the top 4 or 5 kind of broke away from most of the chaos behind us at first.
Definitely amazing drive.
Thank you.
And I wanted to ask, how were those tires doing in those conditions? Because from, the commentator's booth, we don't get a full sort of sense for that, right? And at the start of the race, I could have bet my left pinky that we could have been starting on full wet tires, but absolutely everybody in the field went on intermediates, but then they were definitely having a bit of a struggle. From your perspective here today, do you think it was, wet enough for wets? Was it not wet enough for wets? Or how were the tires performing overall?
I think if somebody would have started on the full wets at the beginning, they could have gained a little bit of time. I think there was enough rain, but after about 6-7 laps, I think the track kind of cleared up and had a little bit of a dry path where the intermediates took over, and that's I think why everybody started on the intermediates. That's what the strategy suggested. I think if more people would have known they would have done a 2-stop, I bet you would have seen more people start on the wets and go to intermediates around lap 9 or 10 when they did come in. But I think the original strategy was a 1-stop. I think almost everybody was planning on that. But my tire wear was pretty strong, so I stayed out as long as possible to try and have fresh tires at the end, and I caught the benefit of the safety car there, I think around lap 19, 20, 21, something like that.
Right.
Yeah, and I actually forgot to say completely, congratulations on the Constructors' Championship, because you guys were I think 13 or 36 points behind Renault going into this race. And since you guys got a 1-2 finish and Failed UX did not finish at all, I'm pretty sure you guys got enough to overtake Renault to take the constructors for the season, as long as the other Renault, we couldn't remember who it was. I think it
was RC, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and I think RC7
Yeah.
finished 9th, so that would be only 2 points for them. Right. So yeah, you guys are going to be 4 points in the clear for the championship. Congratulations on that. And tell us a little bit, overall for the whole season, what were your impressions? How did it go for you? Were there any, ups and downs, or was it pretty consistent? And also, of course, what are your decisions for next season?
Yep, so it's I'll give most of the credit to Flip Flop Fish. I joined later in the year here for the last, I think, 4 or so races or something like that. So I mean, that was for the constructors. That was mostly his doing. But I was glad I was able to contribute here the last few races and get what I could. But my plans for Golden Class next year, and once the 2020 game comes out, the only assist I have is the line right now, and I'm going to put some time and effort and try and take that off for next game and hopefully get back to where I'm at, if not a little bit more pace. So.
And are you coming back to Golden Class, or are you thinking of...
I think I'll be Golden Class. Thursdays don't work for me, so
nice.
I don't think I quite have the pace for that yet anyway. But I mean, we'll see what happens once we get the 2020 game, see how that goes, and see how my development comes without the line. I know that's going to take some time and work, so...
Well, congratulations again here today on a good podium finish and the Constructors Championship. Great season overall. And now let's move over to Latope, who's with us as well. We were really rooting for you here today for your battle for P3 overall in the championship between yourself and Flying Jippo and RC. Yep. Now, because of the ending penalties there, Flying Jippo was initially running in 2nd place, but ended up in 4th. So, I'm not 100% sure on how that's going to affect the final standings, but yeah, I think you might end up keeping 3rd.
Well, the gap between us was 9 points, I think, in the championship, so if he finished 2nd, so he get 18 points. And
he ended up 4th, actually, because he had penalties.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he thought his 10 seconds, he think he can remove the 10-second penalty that he got. Okay. So maybe we'll finish 2nd at the end, but I think that it will not pass over the 9 points gap that we had in the points championship. So I think I will keep my 3rd place overall.
And how did the race go?
Yeah, I had a pretty strong first stint, I think. Just I know Flip Flop was not a guy to battle with, so I let him go. But at the end, I think just my 2nd stint was not as strong as my first one, because I get passed by Flying and GFD quickly, I think. But at the end, I was pretty happy to finish on the podium for the final race and keeping my 3rd place on the championship.
Mr. Sensation, do you have any questions for French Candy?
Yeah. Was you prepared for a wet race?
Nope, not at all. I just put a wet setup during the qualifying, just go to the web quickly and put something in. I was hoping that would work for me, and it did. Qualifying myself on 3rd with a wet setup, was pretty happy with this. At the end, the setup was great. Just I think I was just a little bit slower in the straight, but yeah. But I was not ready at all for this. I didn't practice even 1 lap on the wet, so.
Well, you did a hell of a drive.
I managed to keep the car on the track. That was my first objective.
Okay. Oh, you did it. Well, you met your goal, so you kept the car on track. So hey,
Yeah, thanks.
And overall, your impressions with the season, how did it go for you? Are you going to make any sort of changes for next season? Which class do you hope to race in?
I think if I keep myself in the TCR, I will maybe. I think I have some friends in Platinum, so maybe I will try to go Platinum. But I was pretty happy with my first try in Golden Class. Yeah, I was pretty happy. I was not hoping to finish 3rd at the bottom of the championship leaders. So I'm pretty happy with my first season here in TCR. It was pretty fun to race without assist, because I was not able to race without assist. I always use the traction control. So it was fun to me to race without it.
And it's definitely been very, very fun to watch you race and battle with so many people on track throughout the season. You've had some amazing moments in the season, so I want to congratulate you again on what seems like you're going to be keeping P3 overall in the championship, and overall very, very good season in the Golden class. And we're going to be anticipating your return for the next season.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, to everybody who's been watching so far and who's been watching throughout the season as well, I want to send out the biggest thank you I can possibly send out to everyone. You guys have been amazing. We've had the pleasure of commentating on this league and on this class for quite a while now, together with Mr. Sensation. It's been an absolute privilege and a pleasure to commentate with you as well.
Oh, same here, man. It's been a lot of fun. I enjoyed myself and enjoy seeing these guys race week after week and have very intense battles, I must say. It's the most intense I have seen in a long time.
Absolutely, and if you guys have missed out on the action, you can go back and rewatch the season or rewatch some of the best moments. As I've also mentioned earlier, we will be working on a recap and sort of review of the whole season, and a little video will be coming out. You'll have some updates coming on that pretty soon. But if you guys have any sort of footage and gold class drivers and any other class drivers in this league, please send them in to Seafreeze, and we will be working on all of those and putting them into a nice little fun video for all of us to recap the season and watch back on all of the exciting moments that we've had so far. But yeah, I really can't believe that this is the end of Season 9 for Golden Class TCR, but we will have also the season finale of Platinum Class coming tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern. We will be starting the stream a little bit earlier, just like we did today, to talk to some of the drivers in that class, and it's a very, very close competition for the championship in Platinum Class, so definitely tune in for that one. But again, huge thank you to all of the league officials, all the commentators, all the drivers, and everybody who had a hand in this season of Golden Class and helping us out. Also, of course, a huge thank you to our affiliate, Fanatec. Check out the details on them and also on how to join the league in the description of the video. My name is BLIN-MACHINE. I want to thank you guys again for tuning in and listening to our commentary throughout this season on Golden Class. I hope to see you guys again next season and possibly in between as well for anything that might be to come. Have yourselves a great night. Stay safe, stay healthy, and yeah, I hope to see you guys soon. Good night.
Thanks, guys.
Good night.